Have you ever felt the crushing weight of a promise you made to yourself? The promise that hard work would pay off, that your dreams were just around the corner, only to find yourself standing on a cliff's edge, looking down into an ocean of problems. This is a story for anyone who has ever felt that the shore of success is a mirage, drifting further away with every desperate stroke. His name was Arun, an entrepreneur with a fire in his heart. He didn't inherit a business. He built one with his own 2 hands, a small custom furniture workshop. This workshop was his legacy, a physical manifestation of his promise to his family for a better life. But passion doesn't always pay the bills. The whispers of doubt soon became a roar of unpaid invoices and sleepless nights, the numbers of frantic dance of doom in his head. The breaking point didn't arrive like a tidal wave. It came as a quiet, devastating phone call. A long-term client pulled a massive order at the last minute for a cheaper, mass-produced alternative. That evening, the tension at home was thick enough to cut with a knife. His wife, her face etched with fear, held up a stack of final notice letters. "Arun, this isn't working," she whispered, her voice cracking. "The dream is costing us everything." He saw in her eyes a reflection of his own failure. In that moment, the weight of it all became unbearable. He had to escape. Under the cloak of darkness, he left. His journey was a blur of bus stations and lonely roads. This wasn't freedom. It was a self-imposed exile, haunted by the faces he had abandoned. His search led him to a remote mountain hermitage, a place of stark, silent beauty. He found the wise sage spoken of in local legends and poured out his story of failure and despair. "I've lost everything," Arun pleaded. "Just tell me how to find peace, how to make the pain stop." The sage listened, his eyes holding a depth that seemed to understand every unspoken word. He simply said, "Peace is not a secret to be told. Stay, we will talk in the morning." The next day, the sage gave Arun a strange task. He pointed to a large pile of heavy stones. "Move these stones from this side to the other," he instructed. Arun, desperate for guidance, spent the entire morning toiling under the sun, his hands raw. When he finished, he approached the sage, expecting a profound lesson. The sage simply glanced at the new pile and said, "Good, now move them back." A surge of frustrated anger rose in Arun. What was the point of this meaningless labor? Was this some kind of cruel joke? Still, he obeyed, his resentment growing with every stone. This, he thought, was a perfect metaphor for his life, pointless, exhausting struggle. When he finished, seething with unspoken fury, the sage led him to the bank of a wide, powerful river. They stood watching the relentless, churning water rush past. Minutes turned into an hour. Arun's frustration, already primed by the pointless task, finally boiled over. First the stones, now this. He burst out, "Why are we just standing here? Are you waiting for the river to run dry? That's impossible. It will never stop. If we want to get to the other side, we have to find a way through it." A slow smile spread across the sage's face. He turned to Arun, his eyes twinkling. "Finally," he said, his voice cutting through the roar of the water, "you have answered your own question. That, my son, is life." The words struck Arun with the force of a physical blow. The meaningless rocks, the impossible river, it all clicked. He had been treating life like the pile of stones, a pointless burden. But life wasn't the stones, life was the river. And you don't curse the river for flowing. He understood, his mistake wasn't in failing. It was in believing that life should be a calm lake. It was in waiting for the problems, the current, to magically disappear. He realized peace wasn't the absence of problems, it was the strength to navigate them. He had been trying to stop the river, when all along, he should have been learning to build a stronger boat. Arun returned home. The first thing he did was look his wife in the eyes, not with excuses, but with resolve. "I was wrong," he said, "not for failing, but for running. We faced this river together." Seeing the change in him, she took his hand. That was his first true victory. He called the client who had left, not to beg, but to humbly ask what he could have done better. Impressed by his humility, the client offered a smaller project. Arun rebuilt his business, focusing on quality, one piece at a time. Each new problem was no longer a catastrophe. It was simply a new part of the river to navigate. So, look at your own life. What is your river? Is it the fear of starting something new? The pain of a past failure? Stop standing on the bank, waiting for it to dry up. It won't. True success is not waiting for you on some distant, problem-free shore. It is forged in the heart of the current. It's found in the courage to take that first step into the cold water, in the strength you build with every stroke against the flow. Dare to jump in. Embrace the struggle, because your greatest triumph is not in avoiding the river, but in mastering the art of the crossing.